Hello everybody, it's time for Science Notes. Today we're going to talk about the periodic table, organizing the elements. By the end of this lesson, students will be able to explain how Mendeleev discovered the pattern that led to the creation of the periodic table. You will identify the data about the elements found on the periodic table and explain how the periodic table is useful. Let's get started. What did Mendeleev discover? This is Dmitri Mendeleev. He was a Russian chemistry teacher. In 1869, he created the very first periodic table. He noticed that a pattern of properties appeared when he arranged the elements in order of increasing atomic mass. The properties repeated regularly. So what is atomic mass? The average mass of all the isotopes in an element. Let's review. What is an isotope? An isotope is an atom with a different number of neutrons in its nucleus. Let's take oxygen, for example. Oxygen-16 has 8 protons and 8 neutrons in its nucleus. Oxygen-17 has 8 protons and 9 neutrons in its nucleus. Oxygen-18 has 8 protons and 10 neutrons in its nucleus. When you have different numbers of neutrons in each atom, you have different atomic masses. So, the atomic mass is the average of these numbers. Let's talk about the periodic table. It's an arrangement of elements showing the repeating pattern of their properties. This is Mendeleev's very first periodic table. He left spaces in this original table to show where new elements, not yet discovered, would fit. He correctly predicted the properties of these elements based on the properties of the elements already found. So, what information does the periodic table contain? For our purposes, the periodic table contains the following information: the atomic number found in the upper left-hand corner, the chemical symbol, the letter or letters found, the atomic mass, the decimal found on the sheet, and the name of the element. Let's look at the chemical symbol. It is a letter, sometimes 2 letters, that represent each of the elements in the periodic table. We'll talk about why some letters don't seem to match up with some of the names later. So how is the periodic table useful? An element's properties can be predicted from its location on the periodic table. So we'll talk about the periods of the table and the groups on the table. So, these are the periods, or the rows, on the periodic table. Each one gives you specific information about all the elements in that particular row. Groups, the arrangement of columns on the periodic table. The groups are the columns. These are the groups found on the periodic table. Each of the elements in each of the groups have certain properties in common with each other. You'll learn more about that later. So let's review. We had 3 questions and 3 key concepts. First, Mendeleev. What did he discover? He noticed a pattern of properties that appeared when they arranged the elements in a certain order. The patterns repeated themselves. What information does the periodic table contain? It contains the following: the atomic number, the chemical symbol, the name of the element, and the atomic mass of the element. Finally, how is the periodic table useful? Its elements' properties can be predicted from the location on the periodic table. That's all for now. See you next time.